Jen Kogan, and we are here at the EW Comic-Con studio presented by Toyota Corolla. And I am so excited to be here with Joe and Anthony Russo. Guys, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
How has your Comic-Con been so far? You guys did your panel this morning.
We did. We had a lot of fun. It was great to see all the fans. And, you know, he and I grew up going to Comic-Con, going to midnight screenings of our favorite movies, and now to come back and be able to share this experience with all the fans here. It's always the thing that we cherish the most.
Yeah, every experience here is special.
So is it nice to come here and be able to talk about, you know, in Avengers without having to worry about spoilers?
Yes. Finally, actually, I hadn't even thought about it until you said it. Yeah. There's a giant weight off our shoulders.
You can be like, yeah, we did this, and you know, and Captain America and Tony Stark died, and all. You know, you can
say whatever we want.
It's out there now.
Yeah. No, it's true.
We can say almost whatever we want.
Almost whatever you want. Almost whatever you want. So, I mean, I know you guys have, you know, obviously your panel, you talked about all the amazing work that you guys have done, Arrested Development, Community, obviously everything in the Marvel Universe, everything you guys have coming up. I want to start by, I know you've answered 1,000 questions about Endgame, but I want to know, is there something that you guys worked really hard on or thought a lot about that, like, the average viewer, like, blink and you'll miss it, something that they, you know, means nothing to them, but it was a huge, you know, like, time consumer for you?
Well, it's not a blink and you'll miss it, but when everyone comes out of the portals to Cap's rescue, that, I think that was one of the last things that we locked in. It was in fact the last thing that we locked in picture, wasn't it?
Pretty much.
And probably the last VFX that we got done. That was something we hotly debated for a year and a half. We sat in the edit room and kept going back and forth over that, and finally landed on what it is, like, you know, a week before we locked a picture on it. So that was certainly something that that had a lot of thought put into it.
Yeah, and I would also add another thing that we spend an extraordinary amount of time on that you'd never expect is our conversations about actors' hair.
Really?
Yeah. We
very detailed
time
conversations. Yeah.
On hair.
So
facial hair, everything.
Which actor have you had, like, the most conversations about their hair?
Well, Evan's facial hair was a huge conversation.
Yeah. Tell me
wanted him in the beard.
That.
We wanted him in the beard for Infinity War, and then we were shooting both movies at the same time. And we actually wanted him in the beard until they killed Thanos in Endgame. But we had to shoot a scene after that before we could shoot all the scenes leading up to it. So we thought, all right, let's shave him. It was sort of a spur of the moment. Do you remember this? They were like, what do you want to do? You want to shave him? Keep him, you know? We're like, all right, shave him. We shaved him, and then we were like, we'll just put him in a fake beard for the other scenes. We put him in the fake beard. He showed up to set.
We regretted that decision.
And we all started laughing. Like nobody could keep a straight face. He had like this thing glued to his face, and he was talking like this and trying to, like, all right, get the beard off. It's done. He's going to be clean shaven.
So does that footage exist anywhere of fake Chris
I think
Evans
we
beard?
did shoot. Didn't we shoot like a take, and we're like, all right, this is crazy.
I am sure it's in the vault and will never be seen.
It's not as good as real Chris Evans.
Evans still has it. He watches it every now and then.
He misses the beard.
He
wonders what it used to be like. So, you know, the Endgame writers, Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely, today had a panel where they brought something up. They talked about a lot of cut scenes, you know, things they wanted to try. And they talked about a scene where they had Thanos in 2014 go to Earth, massacre all of the Avengers, and come to the present with Captain America's severed head.
Now,
and we clung to that storyline for so long.
Jeff and I were fighting for that.
Of Thanos walking through a portal and dropping Captain America's severed head.
And we had most of the script working except for the third act, because Anthony and I were clinging to this concept that we wanted Thanos to walk up to the Avengers and throw Captain America's head on the ground.
We couldn't give up.
We couldn't give up on it. And then finally we said, all right, what if we don't do that? Can we find a different way into the third act? And that's when it turned into what it is now.
You don't think that would have been a little too dark?
I don't think so. We did some dark stuff.
I mean, it's a dark movie, but that's a little.
We could have shot it in a way that, like, you know.
Thanos is a rough dude, you know.
Yeah.
You know, he's a bad guy, absolutely.
Yes.
So, you know, looking back across all of your work in the MCU, you know, Winter Soldier, Civil War, all of it, is there, you know, something, now that you can kind of look back on it, is there something you're like, oh man, I wish we could have tried this, or there was a scene that I really fought for? Anything you wish you could have done differently?
That's a tough question. I mean, the truth is, and this sounds like a sort of a cop out of the question, but it's not. Is that
it's a total cop out?
We've been able to do basically everything we wanted to do at Marvel. So we've had an amazing amount of creative freedom. Marvel's always been incredibly supportive. Like whenever we've had the vision to sort of go after something, we've been able to convince everybody of it. So
Except when we want to throw Captain America's severed head
That's the one
on the
thing.
ground at his feet, at his own feet.
we gave up on that ourselves. That was.
So there was never made a decapitated Chris Evans head prop.
We never got that far.
Tragic.
Yeah,
that
that's
could have
too
been so
bad.
exciting.
It would be in our basement.
I actually have one right here.
Right.
Sorry.
So one of the things that I love that you guys did in a lot of your Marvel work was you made a lot of references to your Arrested and Community work. There were a lot of cameos. We saw the blue Tobias. Were there any like hidden cameos or references that you wanted to try to make that you never quite fit in?
I mean, I think we certainly wanted to get Joel McHale and Alison Brie.
Yeah, you could have
And
gotten the whole Community
I know,
cast.
and we tried a couple times and never lined up with their schedules. Donald was already in Spider-Man, so
Right.
we didn't need to do that. I think we got just about everybody. I don't know. It was so funny. After we finished Endgame, we were like, why didn't we put Starburns in here somewhere? Like, it didn't
By
even
the way,
dawn
here
on
at
us.
Comic-Con today,
Yeah.
when we were walking into our panel, we saw an amazing Starburns.
Yes, it was incredible.
It was thrilling and exciting to
Yeah.
see.
That's awesome. That's really cool. So, and I want to talk about up next. You guys are doing Cherry with Tom
That's right.
Holland, which I know is kind of a personal story for you guys. It's an opioid story set in your hometown.
That's right.
So, what was it about that story that really made you want to tell it and dive into it?
I mean, a lot of reasons. I mean, it's based on a book by Nico Walker. The book is an incredible book. Everybody should read it. But it's a very sensitive and timely story about a Iraq war veteran who comes back from the war, and in order to deal with issues of PTSD, starts to be prescribed opioids, and that sort of snowballs into an addiction. And it seems like this problem with opioids is so pervasive in our culture right now and has affected so many people. It's affected us personally. In our lives with our family. So we are really sensitive to that problem, and we think it's a very important story to tell. We think Tom Holland is the perfect creative partner to tell that kind of story, because that's the thing, at the end of the day, everybody who goes through those experiences is a very relatable person. And it's just very small incremental choices that lead you into a worse and worse place. Anyway, we wanted to take the opportunity to tell a story that we think is very important right now.
Absolutely, definitely timely. And another piece of news you guys announced this morning during your panel is you guys have acquired the rights to two of, I know, your two favorite properties, Battle of the Planets,
Battle of the Planets,
and Grimjack. I mean,
Yep.
and you talked about this in the panel, how you're just trying to kind of cherry pick all the things you guys loved as kids.
That's it.
And
We're just running around trying to find every piece of IP that
Hasn't been taken
Yes,
already.
that hasn't
so
been
what's like
somebody
your pie in the sky, like dream, like would just your childhood self would like geek out to get a hand
Battle
on?
of the Planets.
Battle of the Planets? Why Battle of the Planets? Like, tell me about.
I mean,
like,
it
why...
was there's a period for about 4 years where we would come home from school every day, race home to get home by 4 o'clock to watch Battle of the Planets 5 days a week on a local station in Cleveland, and we were obsessed with the show. And I think things that are, really impactful in your childhood tend to stay with you throughout your entire life in a way that other stories can't. And we just loved everything about it. So.
That makes a lot of sense. So we're going to wrap things up here, but real quick, I want to go through a really quick lightning round about Avengers cast members.
Right.
So who complained the most about their costume?
Ruffalo. Because he had to wear a loincloth, and he was in a very skin tight.
This is when he's performing as Smart Hulk, where he's not himself, so he has to wear a motion tracking suit.
Right. So for the big, finale with everybody in the fight against Thanos, who geeked out about having all those cast members together? Who geeked out the most?
Probably Pratt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was the worst about spoilers?
About spoilers, well, Holland. I mean, Holland or Ruffalo. It's like a neck and neck race.
Who got the nerdiest about like understanding the time travel and the timelines?
Benedict.
You had a lot of questions.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then finally, who picks up the fight choreography the fastest?
Evans.
Chris Evans.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
He's just got it.
Yeah.
He does. I mean, he has an incredible physicality. He is
Yeah.
really. I mean, the only way we're able to pull off Winter Soldier is because of Chris Evans' sort of adept physicality and the way that he's able to execute those fight scenes by himself is pretty incredible.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Well, hey, thank you guys so much for stopping by. This has been so much fun. So that's it for us. Stay tuned to EW.com throughout the rest of the weekend for more Comic-Con coverage.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.